Hey folks, Jeff Jackson here. We're going to have another edition of Cow Chow on a Forage Friday here. Today we're going to do a little product highlight, and we're going to highlight a product called the Greentreat 1923, represented back here. So Greentreat 1923, first of all, it's BMR. It's a sorghum by Sudan cross, and it's photoperiod sensitive, and we'll talk a little about why that's important. So first of all, BMR. Less lignin in the plant, higher digestibility, more utilization of what we feed the livestock, so less waste. Better efficiency, so better gains, better milk produced, however you want to look at it. Second thing would be sorghum Sudan cross, going to give us some great regrowth. So if we graze it, cut it, do something to harvest that crop early, we can still have a lot of great regrowth being a sorghum Sudan cross to get us more yield throughout the season. Photoperiod sensitive. So photoperiod sensitive basically means that crop is going to stay vegetative until we get down to about 12 hours and 20 minutes of daylight, which for most of us is going to be mid-September or late September if you're going farther south. At that point, we'll start to put a head on and go reproductive. So again, all season long, from the time you plant it until it goes reproductive in September or you harvest it, it's just going to put new leaves out the top of that plant and get big. So how are we going to harvest it? Great options with this thing. Very, very versatile because first of all, you can graze it. So turn some cows out. We need to get 18 to 24 inches of growth in a field before we want to try to start grazing. So if you have a situation where pasture is short, maybe you lost some grass, spring doesn't turn out the way it should be, maybe you had to graze it too hard last year and the regrowth isn't so good this spring, you can utilize this crop after probably about 25 days of growing to get out there and take some material off. So we need 24 inches, go graze it down to about boot high, maybe 10 to 12 inches, and then rotate off of it. So grazing is a great option. Then you get regrowth 30 days later on that particular patch or that field, go back and graze it again. It talks about 40 days or 40 inches. So if a guy plans to cut it for hay or baleage or chopper cutting for high quality, high crude protein silage, 40 days is about when we'd like to cut it, or 40 inches. So if you're 40 days out and it's only 30 inches tall, go cut it. You're going to stimulate really fast, good regrowth. So that's kind of our timeline on that. 40 days, 40 inches, really high quality. The great thing about this product is it stays vegetative. So if you want to let it go all season and just take the biggest pile of feed you can at the end of the day, go for it. So again, graze it, maybe at 40 days or 40 inches, or maybe that's your plan, but you don't get there until 50 days because of the weather or something happens or machine breaks down. Go swath it, wilt it for a few days. You could chop it, make silage. You could do baleage. You could do dry hay, just depending on what your need is, what your equipment setup is like, and then again, what the weather's like and what things are around you. So graze it, cut it for hay, maybe you want to make silage. Go ahead, get a big crop out there, swath that down, depending on where you're at. If you're in Texas, you might swath it in the morning and chop it that night. If you're in Kansas, you might swath it in the morning and chop it the next day. If you're in Minnesota, Wisconsin, you might swath it and chop it 2 days later to get it down to 68% dry moisture to get that crop to ferment well. So lots of options with this thing. The beautiful thing is that whole photoperiod sensitive piece that we have the options of letting it go longer, getting bigger, or we can take it a little earlier and capture some extra crude protein and some better digestibility taken at 40 days or 40 inches. Greentreat 1923. Have a great opportunity for a great supply of this product this year. BMR, excellent vigor. Plant that stuff, 60-degree soils. Going to be about 20 to 25 pounds of seed per acre. Drill it an inch deep. Take care of some fertility. We need a pound of nitrogen for every day of growth. So if we plan to cut it in 40 days, let's put about 40 to 45 units of N out there. Balance that with 9 pounds of sulfur. 5-to-1 ratio with nitrogen. Make sure you got some P and K going. Multiple applications for multiple cuttings. If you know you're going to let it go season long, then you're okay putting 90 units of N out up front. But if you don't manage the nitrogen by cutting or by harvest, you could have high nitrate crop if you cut at 45 days and have 90 units already applied. So be careful with that. Don't over apply. You need to feed good feed. So Jeff Jackson giving you a little product highlight today on BMR Greentreat 1923, photoperiod sensitive, Thank you. Have a great day. Greentreat 1923. Greentreat 1923, whoa, that's a little bit bigger guy. So 1923 is a photoperiod sensitive BMR sorghum Sudan, and photoperiod sensitive means that it's not going to put a head on until we get less than 12 hours and 20 minutes of daylight. So you can see we have a pretty big plant here, stretches pretty good. It's going to continue to put leaves out the top of this plant in this geography probably till about September 15th. So it's been here 60 days and it's probably a good 6.5 to 7 foot tall. So got a lot of vigor, pounds out of the ground, gets going quick, gets you a lot of tonnage fast. Not going to be quite as digestible as the brachytic dwarfs that we looked at next to them. But if you have the opportunity to cut it at 40 days, bale it, graze it, maybe you let it go a little longer, you get big like this and you swath it and take it for silage. You could still do baleage on it. You can still graze it, winter graze it, whatever you might want to do. Greentreat 1923 is a very, very versatile product, and you can see that it's got some really big tonnage on it and really fast out of the ground. So, 1923.